Witnesses are staying anonymous. They're terrified of threats and bullying. It's a very neutral and interesting piece. She can't prepare for what she doesn't know they have. And again, they have a lot. Now the Hollywood Reporter has seemingly outed the two actresses' names. They're pretty much being bullied to respond.
Blake Lively is not handling this well. She's been in full damage control mode, carefully managing the media, shaping public perception, and making sure her version of the story was the one everyone believed. And for a while it worked. Hollywood stood by her, the public rallied behind her, and the media framed her as the victim.
Guys, she goes in and there's a lot of Twitter complaints, some of which, 2 or 3 of them are horrid and shouldn't be there, but some of them are spot on. There's a lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
But now, everything is falling apart. The Hollywood Reporter just dropped a bombshell report that completely contradicts her claims. Instead of proving her story, it's raising serious questions about how much of it was actually true. Sources say that behind the scenes she's furious. The media was supposed to protect her, but now they're turning against her. And instead of handling it gracefully, she's lashing out. Fans are starting to question her. Hollywood insiders are rethinking their support. And worst of all, the evidence against her keeps getting worse. So how did Blake go from controlling the narrative to being exposed by the same industry that once backed her? Let's break it down. Blake Lively built her case around one major claim. She insisted that she was put in an uncomfortable situation on set, that she had no choice in the matter, that she was pressured into it, and that she regretted it immediately. That version of events gained her a lot of sympathy. People believed she had been taken advantage of, and Hollywood rushed to support her. But now, the Hollywood Reporter's investigation is telling a completely different story. Leaked footage from behind the scenes shows something very different. Instead of looking uncomfortable, Blake is fully engaged in the moment. She's not hesitating. She's not pulling away. She's going along with it completely. And after the scene, she's laughing and joking with the crew. There's no sign of regret, discomfort, or second thoughts. That changes everything. Because if she was truly uncomfortable, why does she look so at ease in the footage? Why does she seem totally fine with what's happening? And that's the problem. The moment people start asking those questions, the entire foundation of her claims starts to crack. And now, instead of being the victim of a situation, it's starting to look like she manipulated the truth to fit her narrative.
While Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand, sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
If Blake had nothing to hide, she could have easily cleared this up. She could have addressed the footage directly, explained any misunderstandings, and set the record straight. But instead, she's going in a completely different direction. Rather than responding to the actual evidence, Blake is attacking the people exposing her. She's accusing them of spreading lies, twisting the truth, and trying to ruin her reputation. But here's the thing, if the facts were on her side, she wouldn't need to do this. If the truth was exactly how she originally told it, then she could simply prove it. She wouldn't need to discredit journalists or blame everyone else for her situation. And this is where things start to spiral. Because when someone is truly innocent, they defend themselves with facts. But when someone knows they're caught, they lash out and attack. And that's exactly what Blake is doing. Instead of clearing her name, she's turning this into a war, and that is never a good idea when the evidence isn't in your favor. And now, Hollywood is watching closely, and they don't like what they're seeing.
Look, Team Justin has not given up, and they are being incredibly aggressive because Brian Friedman is doing his job. This is what he does. It's a winning strategy, and he pretty much can't lose at this point, it seems, because Blake's been unable to provide anything realistic.
Blake has always had powerful connections in Hollywood. She's been a media favorite, a respected actress, and someone studios trusted. But trust only lasts as long as you're useful. And right now, Blake is becoming a problem. The moment a scandal starts damaging the industry's image, Hollywood starts pulling away. Executives don't want to be associated with controversy, and insiders don't want to be caught defending someone who might be lying. And that's exactly what's happening. Before this Hollywood Reporter expose, Blake had full support. Now, people are staying silent. The same industry that once stood by her is now watching from a distance, waiting to see if this gets worse. And if it does, she might find herself completely alone.
Even before It Ends With Us, Baldoni wasn't afraid to interject elements of his religion on the set. He did talk about his religion a lot, says a source, on 5 Feet Apart. This had shades of Scientology, but with less of the prominence and people hovering at the times. I think that's being mean. Nothing I've done makes it anywhere near the criminal accusations and things that Scientology does, so.
At this point, Blake Lively's PR team must be panicking. What started as a carefully controlled story is now spinning out of control, and instead of fixing it, she's making things worse. Hollywood is starting to question her, and the people who once defended her are going silent. And if history tells us anything, this is how careers start to fall apart. Blake built her entire public image on being a strong, well-respected actress, someone who Hollywood could trust and admire. But trust? That's the one thing that can't be rebuilt once it's broken. And right now, it's breaking fast.
Meanwhile, you're holding everything over his head as if he does anything, he's screwed. I mean, this is, it's shocking, but it gets worse. It gets worse. One incident, they're filming the slow dance. As you recall, you can pause and watch this, read this again.
This isn't the first time Hollywood has turned against a major star. We've seen this happen before. At first, the media stands by them, the industry protects them, and their fans support them no matter what. Then, a single piece of evidence surfaces. A video, a document, a statement, something that contradicts their story. And suddenly, the narrative changes overnight. It happened to Johnny Depp when leaked recordings painted a different picture than what was first believed. It happened to Amber Heard when the public realized her version of events wasn't as simple as she made it seem. And now, it's happening to Blake Lively. At first, everyone believed her. But now, doubt is setting in. And once the public starts asking questions, that's when things really start falling apart. Because Hollywood doesn't like uncertainty. Executives, directors, and studio heads don't want to attach their names to someone whose reputation is hanging by a thread. And in Blake's case, that thread is getting thinner by the day.
There's another possibility, one that has less to do with gender than it does with simple cultural misunderstandings. What if much of it, the alleged inappropriate hugging, which Blake mentioned in her new amended suit, the pre-filming praying, could be explained as a clash between a very specific, faith-driven community with its unique mores and a much more modern, post-Me Too one with its own set of beliefs and commandments.
Up until now, Ryan Reynolds has managed to stay out of this mess. But as Blake's scandal gets worse, people are starting to look at him too. Because let's be honest, there's no way he doesn't know what's going on. Ryan has always been calculated when it comes to public relations. He knows how to control a media storm, how to play the industry game, and how to protect his brand. But right now, he's doing nothing. And in Hollywood, silence is just as loud as speaking out. If Ryan truly believed Blake was being treated unfairly, wouldn't he say something? Wouldn't he defend her? Or at least try to shift the conversation? Instead, he's doing exactly what celebrities do when they know the situation is bad. He's staying quiet. He's keeping his distance. And he's waiting to see how bad this gets. And that raises an even bigger question. Does Ryan know something the public doesn't? Because if he really thought Blake was innocent, he wouldn't be acting like someone trying to protect himself. And if that's the case, then Blake's situation might be even worse than we think. At this point, Blake's career is at serious risk. For years, she was seen as one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, someone studios could trust and the public admired. But now, that reputation is slipping fast. If she doesn't regain control of the situation soon, this could lead to long-term consequences she may not recover from. Studios are already hesitant to associate with controversy, and if this backlash continues, they may start looking for safer, less problematic stars to take her place. Hollywood moves fast, and once executives feel that someone is too risky to invest in, they quietly start phasing them out. That means fewer major roles, fewer industry connections, and eventually, fewer opportunities altogether. And it's not just the studios. Brands and endorsement deals are built on public image. The moment a celebrity's name is linked to controversy, companies start reconsidering their partnerships. They won't make a big announcement, they won't publicly cut ties, but contracts quietly won't be renewed. Deals that once seemed guaranteed will disappear. Blake may not feel the full weight of this now, but the real damage happens behind closed doors. Hollywood insiders are already distancing themselves, waiting to see if this scandal fades or if it keeps getting worse. Because if it does, she might find herself in a position where the industry decides to move on without her. And once that happens, there's no going back. Blake Lively has spent years building relationships with Hollywood's biggest players. She was always seen as one of the industry's safest, most reliable stars, someone studios could count on to deliver. But trust in Hollywood only lasts as long as you remain useful. Right now, that trust is breaking down fast. It's not just the media questioning her story, it's the entire industry watching from the sidelines, waiting to see if she becomes too much of a liability. And if there's one thing Hollywood executives hate, it's risk. No studio wants to invest millions into a project when the lead actress is surrounded by controversy. No director wants their film overshadowed by constant speculation and bad press. And no brand wants to attach their name to someone who might lose public support overnight. This is how it starts. Not with a public announcement, not with a dramatic fallout, but with quiet hesitation. Phone calls stop coming in as often. Big projects move forward without her name attached. Industry friends stop defending her in interviews. It doesn't happen overnight. But one day, a star who seemed unstoppable suddenly isn't in demand anymore. And that's when they realize Hollywood has already moved on. At this point, Blake has one last chance to stop this from spiraling completely out of control. The longer she waits, the worse the damage becomes. If she wants to survive this, she has to make a major move fast. First, she needs to own up to the contradictions in her story. Right now, she's fighting back instead of addressing the facts, and that's only making people more suspicious. If she wants to repair her reputation, she needs to clear the air herself instead of hoping the controversy will just disappear. Second, she has to convince Hollywood that she's still a valuable asset. That means locking in strong future projects, showing that studios still believe in her, and making sure she's not seen as a risk. And most importantly, she needs to stop feeding the controversy. Every public reaction, every attempt to fight the backlash just adds more fuel to the fire. If she plays this right, she could slowly rebuild her credibility. But if she keeps doubling down and refusing to acknowledge the damage, she's only going to push Hollywood even further away. Because at a certain point, there is no comeback. There's one thing that makes this situation even worse. Hollywood never waits for anyone. If one star starts losing their influence, the industry immediately starts looking for the next big name to take their place. And right now, there are plenty of rising actresses who Hollywood could easily push into the spotlight if Blake's career keeps taking hits. Studios always bet on the safest choice. If a project needs a strong female lead and Blake's name carries too much baggage, they'll move on. It's that simple. This has happened countless times before. Once an actor becomes more trouble than they're worth, the industry finds someone else who isn't surrounded by drama. And if Blake isn't careful, she could become just another name on that list. Blake Lively was once one of Hollywood's most untouchable stars. She had the industry's full support, a flawless reputation, and a career that seemed unstoppable. But now, she's watching that power slip away. Her version of the story is falling apart. The industry is hesitating to defend her, and if she doesn't turn this around fast, this controversy might define her career forever. The reality is that Hollywood doesn't wait for anyone. If a star becomes too much of a liability, the industry moves on without them. And right now, there are plenty of rising actresses who could take Blake's place if she continues to lose credibility. Studios don't take risks when they don't have to, and if she becomes too controversial, they'll simply cast someone else, someone without baggage, without bad press, and without the uncertainty that comes with a crumbling public image. The only question now is whether she can still fix this or if it's already too late. If she takes control of the situation and stops feeding the controversy, she might still have a chance to repair the damage. But if she keeps ignoring the warning signs, she could be heading for the same fate as other stars who lost Hollywood's trust and never fully recovered. Right now, everyone is watching to see what she does next. And if she doesn't make the right move soon, this scandal could be the moment that changes everything for her. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to me, and ring the bell so you will be first to get notified about celebrity news.